So this is what happens when I can't think of any clever thing to say before the opening credits. You ready? Readers, there's no doubt about it that I am a rather inquisitive man. I'm always the guy that wants to know all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the guy who always wants to know about the drama that led up to a certain project. I'm always that guy who decides to get the 2 to 3 disc special edition of whatever movie I'm about to buy, because yes, bitch, I am about to watch the special features immediately after the movie's over. I'm not a fucking heathen. That's pretty much why, while I was fine with the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad that we got, that I still did some digging regarding what happened behind the curtain, and share with you all the cautionary tale of what happens when there's too much studio involvement. So when I walked out of the Freddie Mercury-focused Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody this weekend, I pretty much had the same feelings regarding how we got this specific version of the Queen biopic that was presented to us. Mostly because I'm aware of the one that almost was, and why it never saw the light of day. That one specifically having Freddie Mercury not necessarily portrayed by Rami Malek, but by Borat himself, Sacha Baron Cohen. Yup. That's exactly what I said when I saw that shit years ago. And I was also just as relieved as I was cautious when I found out that he wasn't going to be in that shit anymore. You see, the reason why Cohen left the project back when it was trying to get off the ground in 2010 was that the surviving members of Queen wanted the biopic to focus on the band first and foremost, with the second half of the movie focusing on how they carried on after Mercury's death in 1991. You know, like nothing even mattered. Look, I feel like I'm entitled to at least one dad joke per year, considering that I'm not a dad. I think that's fair. Now, knowing this, when Bohemian Rhapsody was greenlit 3 years after Cohen left back in 2013, I was expecting the movie to stick to its gun as far as focusing on the band Queen first and foremost, as opposed to focusing on Freddie's personal journey with the band up to his death. And that was mostly due to the resolve of the surviving bandmates Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon, who once upon a time all had producer powers in this biopic until it was only their longtime producer Jim Beach and Graham King. And it was at that time the script that would eventually be the rough draft of the movie that we received recently was turned in, and the surviving bandmates were pretty much talked into letting the movie be about Freddie Mercury's perspective, spanning the course of him joining the band up until he lost his battle with AIDS. But with that came a whole new can of worms, specifically in the form of director Bryan Singer and how they chose to portray Freddie Mercury's queerness. And yes, they did portray his queerness and his battle with HIV, but they did it in a way that kind of reinforced the mentality of bi erasure, which was definitely one of my silent criticisms while watching the biopic. But I didn't really say anything about it in my initial review because I was still overall impressed with how they portrayed his story. Also because I knew that I was going to make this video, but that's neither here nor there. But let's get back to the second asshole in Hollywood that's currently giving us queer folk a bad name, Bryan Singer. Also, a quick shout out to fellow reader The Red Knight for quickly pointing me in the right direction of this dude's fuckery over the course of making this movie. Apparently this movie would still be in development hell if it weren't for Bryan Singer pushing it because this is a passion project of his. Just like Superman Returns. Then when he actually had to do his job, Bryan continued to confirm that the rumors were true. He is in fact a bitch made. I'm talking showing up late, getting exhausted and leaving early after shooting one scene at a time, throwing film equipment at Rami Malek, lying about his mom being sick so he wouldn't have to come to work. It was just the most juvenile shit ever. He was fired at the end of 2017, and 20th Century Fox hired David Fletcher to film the remaining scenes of the movie that he didn't have the balls to finish. And while Bryan Singer is still listed as the director of Bohemian Rhapsody, he had his producer credit stripped. So, there? Nevertheless, readers, the process of getting at least this aspect of Freddie Mercury and Queen's story portrayed on screen has been It's just been a journey and a half, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when there's still a good handful of things that were either changed around for drama's sake or were just completely wrong. Like, it took y'all 8 years to get this movie made and y'all still got shit wrong? What the fuck? Nevertheless, I stand by my overall decision to see this in theaters. Though given everything that I found out about how this movie got made, I wouldn't be mad at you if you decided to just stick to a matinee. And now you see why I initially wanted to make this video as opposed to actually reviewing it. But it happened, so... Anyway, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comments section below what your thoughts were about the overall journey of Bohemian Rhapsody getting made. Me, personally, I wanted to see Freddie Mercury and Princess Diana sneak off to a gay bar back when they were friends, because that actually happened and I wanted to see it. If you want to help support the channel, you can purchase official merchandise by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channels and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.